G'day folks, welcome to another episode of Stuff and Such. Most of you guys that are going to be seeing this video will likely be not coming from my original subscribers. This is pretty off-brand for my typical stuff. Mostly I do farming and farmstead videos along those lines. So I have a 2009 Tiguan Volkswagen that what happened is that it was overheating on me, or rather it overheated on me. So like once going down the road, all of a sudden started overheating. Check the coolant, lots of coolant. It's boiling away in the reservoir, and it's basically a bad situation. Long story short, basically, is the water pump belt snapped. That's that little guy there. So it snapped. So that means that the water pump wasn't actually turning and circulating the water. From what I understand, it's a fairly rare situation. This is a 2009, so perhaps newer models are different in their designs a little bit. Yeah, so basically they figure the reason it would snap is simply based on age. Whether that's the case, I don't know for certain or not. Basically wanted to make this video to kind of maybe speed up a little information for people that were like me, that only had a belt problem and had certain questions. So I'll bring you around to the front of the engine. So there's a lot of good videos on the actual water pump replacement, and that involves taking off this manifold and all the foolishness involved with that. So I didn't end up taking off the water pump, or I didn't end up taking off the manifold, because if I took the manifold off, that I might as well replace the water pump at the same time, because you don't want to do it twice. Basically, I just wanted to find out if the water pump was going to leak after being exposed to the amount of heat it was exposed to. And so far it hasn't, which is fingers crossed sort of thing. So your water pump is down in there. You can't really see it. You'll have to view other YouTube videos, but it's way down. You got to reach underneath this round covered thing and down around. I'll just kind of get to the point of this video, and the question was for me to answer was that, can you replace the belt without taking that manifold off? And the answer is sort of. And this is on an 09, so maybe they stopped being stupid in later years. So this is a little cover that goes over the end of the water pump, like so, and covers all your stuff. And it's held in by two bolts, one here and one I think up here somewhere. The way they've made this is that you can't actually get it out without taking off that manifold or a bunch of cooling pipes. And when you're dealing with plastic in -15, well, it doesn't take too much before you're starting to break other stuff and more stuff, and you got to keep replacing stuff. So I opted to reach down with a screwdriver from the top of the engine, put it on there and smash it with a hammer, and broke the end of it off so I could get it out. So then I could visually see if the belt was broken, because I didn't want to tear it all apart to find out, oh, maybe the rad's plugged or the thermostat's stuck, or, well, the thermostat's in the water pump, but you get my point. I wanted to confirm this was actually the problem. So I got it out, found out the belt was broken. Now, you'll notice in other videos that there's a little washer with a nut on it, or a bolt rather, that supposedly you're able to back out in its reverse thread. allegedly. But I couldn't get it to move either way. I ended up stripping the head on the bolt, and I gave her quite a yank, and it didn't move. So I'm amazed I didn't actually snap the bolt off. But so maybe this is kind of where our paths may split. If you're able to hold a socket on the pulley side on the crankshaft, reach around and kind of bear hug the engine from the front, kind of coming from both sides, get a wrench on it and perhaps loosen that washer off, then maybe you'll be able to get that belt on. So like I was saying, I couldn't do that. I tried, ended up stripping the head of the bolt, and was essentially left with either figure out another solution or pull the whole manifold and all that garbage off so you can get in there with vice grips to hold the head of the bolt and hope it comes, but besides the point. So the way I managed to get my belt on, and this is an 09, perhaps they've stopped being stupid, but so there's that round bottom one with the washer that's kind of a retaining washer that's bigger than circumference. It seemed like they had to have made the conscious decision to make that washer big enough that the clearance between it and the body of the engine, the casting of the engine, that you can't get the belt like wrapped around it. And I tried jamming it in, and my hands are all cut up from the fan on that water pump. So I tried jamming it in, pushing and trying to roll it around, camming the engine around, even tried bumping the starter, and it would not get sucked in. So this is where you can take my advice, or you can call me a farmer hick. I don't really care what you do, but this is what I ended up doing. So I tried it on this broken belt to see if the theory would work. I'll show you here. So what I did is I took off just like 50 thou off the cogs, 4 of them, and that provided just enough clearance you could roll it around that bottom drive sprocket and then up onto the water pump, and then basically it's been running fine. So you can either do that. I'll probably order another one, throw it in the glove box, because now without this shroud, you can pretty well change that on the side of the road now. Because everything else you can just kind of, like all your air tubing, and you can yank apart by hand if you had to. So this is like a $30 part in Canada here. It's tiny, so it might just get thrown in the glove box. I don't really think it'll take too much away from the strength of the actual belt. And I didn't take out too many that there won't be some engagement on the sprocket. So yeah, I won't say do it or don't do it. I just want to figure to tell you what I did. And like I said, I just started taking a little bit off at a time until it would roll around. And that's kind of what I found. I just knocked off the tips, and it's been in there. I don't know if this video has helped you at all, but I know if I watched it, I wouldn't have wasted an hour and a half trying to, or maybe even more, trying to get that nut off and being miserable and angry. Anyways, if this video helped you guys, or even if it didn't, give me a thumbs up, just because you feel bad for me. And if you want to check out my other stuff, feel free. We'd love to have you along. If you like watching cows and other stuff, so be it. But good old Volkswagen plastic. Junk. Bye for now.